This is my suburban habitat, my Suburbitat, and I'm gonna survive here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's nice Tennessee humid heat. So to make some compost tea, you need 5-gallon bucket, unchlorinated water. You like to have it should be as pure as possible, but the best I can do is unchlorinated. You aerate that with an aquarium pump, and I've heard, anywhere from an hour to 3 hours to run that pump in the water to get the chlorine out of there. So I'll usually let it run for 3 hours just to be on the safe side. And then of course you hear anywhere from 18 to 36 hours to actually brew your tea, and I kind of figure 24 is probably good enough. What you need for that is some good compost, it's good mature compost, and I also like to mix, actually for my compost tea, my main base is worm castings. Then I'll use some of the stuff that I'm making around here. And before I've had some good mushroom compost. I've used it up, but I would put that in there as well. Now I actually may take, I'll put some of the Happy Frog in there with it. And then we'll use some molasses, unsulfured molasses, and that'll feed the microorganisms and kick that stuff loose and get them feeding. Okay, so the first thing first bit of fertilizer I'm going to do is grab some of this Happy Frog. This actually seems to be some pretty good stuff. See that one bed out there, it's producing quite well. So I got another bag here that's got some in it still. We'll go ahead and use some of that. See if you can get a fairly decent look at it. I don't know if you can see that or not. But I'm going to get about 2 scoops of that. Earthworm castings. So we'll go with about 2 scoops of that as well. Now we're going to get us some homemade compost. Alright, so now you're looking at the pile that I've been made from the house, and grass clippings. Looks like it's a little dry though. Probably gonna have to wet it down. Let's see if we can get anything out of the center here. This bit here looks pretty good actually. Alright, and there's that. Need to throw a little water on that pile. It's a little dry, so just kind of get it a little moist. Yeah, I think I'll get that a little moist in there too. Get some water going on it. Get things active in there. Alright. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is mix this up a little bit. I'm just going to put it in there and just mix it around. Break up some of the chunks. And open it up for all the microorganisms and start getting lively. Then I'll just put it back in the can here so I can get it into the bag. Okay, paint strainer. Got a bag, a 2 I believe. Let's take a look here. Yep, that's a 2-pack, 1 gallon paint strainer, just Home Depot's or Lowe's. I think I got these at Home Depot, a couple bucks, not much. This one, it's the first one I pulled out of the bag, and I've used it probably 3-4 times already. I just rinse it out when I'm done with it. Quite simple, just dump it in there, just like that. Now, get me some string. I always burn the ends of these strings just to make sure that they don't unravel on me somewhere. Be careful, that thing can come back and burn your finger if you let it go. Okay. Okay. What I want is I want to hang it on there, but I don't want to do anything to the bag itself because I want to reuse it. So just tie it tight to the stick, and this is what we're going to do with it. All right, this is my tea making bucket. This thing's been aerating actually more than 3 hours, as I put it in there sometime yesterday morning. You can see the bubbles coming up there. I'll show you how that sets. Now, there's the 2-outlet pump. It's just a simple aquarium pump, 2 outlets. I think it's like for an 80-gallon tank or something like that. So I got 2 lines going down there. Now what I got here, on each end I've got an air stone. I got it tied down with a weight. And the weight is to keep it down, because with all that air going through there, it could float up real easy. You kind of want to keep them separated, one on one side, one on the other side. What I like to do is make sure that this bag goes right over the top of one. Now you don't want it down completely at the bottom, at least that's the way I like to set mine up. But you want that bag over the air bubbles, because that's going to be coming up there and agitating all the microorganisms and getting them going. You watch that water as soon as they start circulating, it starts turning brown. Get that stirred in there and stir around really good. Get that stuff activated. Now with that air pumping in there, not only we cleaned out the chlorine, but what we're doing is we're keeping the active life excited and moving around. The bacteria, microorganisms kicked up and active. So, and we're going to feed them, and they'll grow exponentially. So, take this bottle, take some purified drinking water, get a little bit in there. Now the reason I'm doing that, I'm going to use some unsulfured molasses. Let's see if you can see that, unsulfured molasses. And I want to pour about 2 ounces of that in there. That should probably be good. Probably a little more than 2 ounces, but that's all right. I'll try to do that with as little mess as possible. But this is the reason why I put the water in there, so we can thin it out. That stuff's thick. And pour that in there. Now, later on I'll go rinse this out so I can use it again. But for now I want to get stuff stirred. Kind of get it around in there. After you stir, you want to make sure you get your stones back into place. 5 capfuls is what I'm going to put in this. So. Alright. Stir that a little bit more. Make sure we activate as many of those as we can. Make sure we activate as many of those microorganisms, bacteria as we can. Alright, not bad. It's 3:30, so tomorrow about 3:30 we'll take this stuff out, and you got to do it within an hour or two of the time you're done with it. Once you turn off them aerators, you got to get it out there. Okay, so that's the simplified version of the aerated compost. Now, if it ever comes to SHTF, or you're getting off the grid or whatever, you don't have any power, first thing out is going to be the aquarium pump, and also your water supply may change. So in that case, there's the other method of putting your compost into like a barrel full of water and letting that set and steep for at least a week, 5 days to a week, and stirring it every day. I may go down and try to find me a barrel I can do that with, just to start doing that and getting myself used to that way of making my compost tea. But for now, I'm going to do it this way, and I hope maybe you learned something from it. If not, well, maybe you enjoyed my ramblings. But anyways, thank you very much. You can follow me on Twitter, and I am on Facebook, so if you look, you can find me. And thanks, and please subscribe.
1, 2, 3, 4.